All right, so now we're going to talk about how to effectively contact those 2, 3, 4, 500 people that we added to the system. Hopefully, that's just the start, and you can go from 500 to 5,000 to 50,000. It's a numbers game, and to increase your probabilities and possibilities and results is obviously the bigger the prospect list, the more results you'll get, especially when utilizing the contact funnels. So the whole idea behind the contact funnels is that you create processes that instead of you having to call people, they're going to call you. And it's a whole different ball game, or it's a whole different conversation when they are, in other words, people that you would be sending your contact funnels to, when they filter themselves, when they go to through your process, and in the end, they're asking you to contact them and not the other way around. And so how do you do that? Well, you do that with contact funnels. And obviously, you begin by utilizing your contact, your prospects. And like, I wrote here, says contact funnels is basically get people to contact you instead of you contacting them. And it's the use of the communication tools inside of the CyberZoos to get prospect leads to visit your landing pages where you tell the stories. And they can view the presentations and other materials. So let me show you a flow of how a contact funnel works. And it's really easy to set up inside of your account, but this is typically how it works. Well, I guess before we go into that, you may be thinking right now, well, what kind of information can I add or include or create inside of these contact funnels? Well, HCI has a lot of the opportunity videos, right? Testimonials, there's corporate videos that are created that we have there that talk about the HCI opportunity. And there's also personal testimonials that you can give as long as you're following the guidelines and the rules, the advertisement rules of the company. You shouldn't have any problems. But we have opportunity videos, solution videos, which is what we do. Obviously, everything that we do in the company is to solve a problem. If you're not generating enough income, that's the opportunity. If you have debt, if you are not saving enough, if you're not properly insured, et cetera, there's a lot of solutions that we offer, right? So there's videos about the solutions, and there's also videos about the opportunity. So we put those in what we call video drops, video drop funnels that we're going to take a look at right now. You'll see exactly how they are set up and how they look. Other things that we can do is live events, or I said it wrong, is like live events, or evergreen. In other words, it's another way to call them. But like live events are events that are indistinguishable from, I should say, are recorded events that are indistinguishable from a live event. That's why we call them the like live events, because they look identical. And so inside CyberZoos, you have a webinar system that enables you to do live events, real live events, or record the event, and then play them as a like live or evergreen webinar. And also other things that you can utilize inside the system to be able to add value to the people is using the free memberships sites area. In other words, if you're like, as an example, I have given a lot of presentations in restaurants and hotels and colleges, these educational type of financial conferences. And so I have been able now to put them in a free memberships area where I give away that for free. People log in there and they're able to get educated about a subject. And in the end, it leads to them booking an appointment. If it's about like coaching or business, they're also able to get in there, and then they reach out and want to know maybe how this opportunity could also be a good fit for them. So that you can do inside of the memberships area. It's not like a webinar that will play for about 1 to 2 hours. Sometimes it could be shorter or longer than what I just said. But the memberships area is like You could have 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 15 modules of information and education that in the end people are going to feel like, wow, I've got a lot of value here. I got to reach out to this person. And we'll take a look at how that looks. Like I said, here we have Hubert Mentorships, financial education, and then we have what's called the autoresponder, which is a mixture of email, SMS, and voice messages, all incorporated into a process, a program, a campaign that can help you deliver these videos, these materials that will get them to contact you, that will get them to click, fill out questionnaires, fill out appointment calendars, for you to get on the phone with them and be able to either get them enrolled or help them with a financial solution. And so how does that look? Well, this is kind of the whole process. It looks like a lot going on, but it's actually very, very simple. Imagine you have this list of 500 people in the CyberZoo's database, right? And you basically begin by creating a simple email or a text message that has a direct link to a landing page. In other words, this right here, this first image right here, represent that first piece of email that you're going to send out. In other words, that's representing this email or a text that would have a link. It would have some text and a link, because you really can't do much as far as the text messages, sending like video or images, but they're both very effective. And what it is that what you are sending attached to that email or attached to that text message is you're sending out a link right there. That's why it's called a contact funnels, because you're sending in a link inside that they'll click through. And in this case, this would be that email that I'm talking about. And when they click on this register now button, after they read the email, I'll show you an example of it. Then people will go to this landing page where there's a lot of videos in there. There is a call to action. There's some specific steps and actions people should take after they watch the information. So in this case, they're watching the Hubert's interview, and if they're interested and they follow that call to action in the end, they're going to click on that and land into a questionnaire. This is a way to filter people so that when you get on the phone, you basically know what their interest is, where they live, how much time do they have to dedicate if they want to join the opportunity. Are they already an entrepreneur? Are they already in sales? Are they an employee? Any information you would want to gather from them prior to meeting with them, you got already. And then once they answer all those questions, you can redirect them to a calendar that is part of the system where now they can book a one-on-one interview with you, and you get on the Zoom call, on the phone, which those ways now are very effective, and just either recruit them, have them join, or help them with one of the solutions, financial solutions that we offer. And of course, if for whatever reason the prospects falls through the crack, let's say that they landed on the page and the analytics inside the system tells you that they clicked on the email, but maybe they didn't click on the internal link for whatever reason, then you know how to address them. You know how to re-engage them or put them back in the funnel. You don't necessarily have to send them the original piece, but you can send them the link that they didn't click directly. But the bottom line is that wherever they fell off in the process, you're able to pick up from there because you'll know exactly when it happened. Let's say that they click on the internal link, they watch the video, they watch all the content and the landing page, and then they arrive at the questionnaire and they dropped off. Well, maybe you can re-engage them by sending them the questionnaire in a separate email because you know where they are, where they're falling off. And so that's very good because you know exactly from where should you pick up the conversation with them. But the thing is that every process has analytics. You'll know exactly where your prospect is, and if somebody goes from the, opening the email to clicking on the link, to watching the content, to going through the questionnaire, to booking the appointment, I mean, you pretty much have it all set up. And what I was trying to say in the beginning is that if they fall off at any part in the process, that's why you have the email, SMS, Messenger, WhatsApp, and even a voice broadcast. It's basically a system where you can record a voice message and it lands right into the into their voice message. It doesn't even, the phone doesn't ring. It just goes to the voicemail, and they're like, oh, I got a voicemail, and the phone didn't even ring, and they can listen to a message that you've pre-recorded as part of your follow-up campaign. And so that's kind of how it works. Now I'm going to show you how do I set it up. Let's just go there before we go any further. Let me go show you how this is actually created inside the CyberZoos. And if you remember, we created these groups in step 1 in prospecting. We imported 3 groups. One of them is called Family and Friends with 97 people. Old MLM company associate that I have is 100 people. And Happy Clients, 79 people. Now, it's not quite the 500, but you get the point. The point is that if you segment these groups, then you know how to address them. And here's what I would do. If I have, let's say, Family and Friends, I have a group of 97 people, and I wanted to send them an email or something, right? You know, as a whole group, I'll pick up the 97 right here by selecting them, and I can just go ahead and create an email right here, create a nice email, and it'll go out to all 97 of them. I like to create autoresponders ahead of time, which is, it's basically emails I have ready just to deploy. I take my time, I design them, and I say, well, this email, I can either send it to people that I import into my system, people that I know, and I can also use that to attach it or use it as an autoresponder so that if I have a funnel where I'm driving traffic of even people that may not know me, when they register, when they provide their information, the system automatically sends, it's called an autoresponder. It sends a message via text, email, voice, and it does it automatically. And you design that ahead of time. And so if it's 1,000 people that join your list or 100,000 people, they're all going to get it. As a matter of fact, you could do a sequence of many different emails that can enable you to add value. And by adding value consistently, people will get used to listening to you. They'll get the value that you're delivering to them, and they'll just, this trust is going to get I guess bigger and bigger over time. And so to make a long story short here is you click on this, either you can send a direct voice email, SMS message, WhatsApp, or a voicemail. It should be there. And then you can also create a autoresponder. I called it the Huber story for this example. And it says something like this. It's a very simple text that says, shares that you know, I've came across this opportunity and I think you should check it out. And to know who's behind it, you know, look at the interview of the caliber of individual I'm associated with. And that's why I think you should see the video. So to create it is very easy. I'm actually going to show you how to create it right now. But this is the kind of the final product where you create the image that when you click on it, it links to the landing page that was also created inside CyberZoos, which is very easy to do. I mean, this is a very simple, this is kind of like the basic, most basic type of landing page where you have a header, right? You have a title, you have a video here, and then you have a call to action button. So the idea is that the email or the text message was inviting people to watch this interview about this person that I just recently associated myself with, or decided to work with, I should say. And I think that they'll find a lot of value in what he had to say, but I also want them to know the individual in the interview, which I found interesting and valuable. So the interview obviously talks a lot about the opportunity and the history and everything. And then we have a call to action where we say, hey, would you like to build a business side by side with Hubert Humphrey? You know, request an interview and see if you qualify. I mean, this is just an example, right? So you can see the flow. If that person, after they see the interview right here, they click play, and they'll be able to go through maybe an intro, whatever that video is. There's so many different videos and content you'll be able to utilize you'll have no shortage of that, and you can also create your own. So after that, you can click on this button, or the person can click on this button, and they're going to land on a questionnaire that was also built using CyberZoos. And so the questionnaire would be something like, hey, before you set up a phone call, or before you choose a time and a date for us to get together and talk about the opportunity, I want to know a little bit about you. And so I can put whatever I want here on the top as title, and then here's the questionnaire. So I'm going to say, I'm actually going to fill it out so you can see what you see when somebody fills out the questionnaire. So and I made a very short one for this example so that we don't have to do like a 20-question survey or questionnaire here. I think it's like 4 or 5 questions just so you see what's the flow. And so it says, tell us a little bit about you. What city do you live in? I'll say I'm going to live in Chicago. And I click on next. And am I an employee or an entrepreneur? I'm an entrepreneur. I click next, right? And how much, what's your current income? I'm going to say I make between $100,000 and $250,000. What's your name? You know, Mauricio Garcia, that's my name. And then what's your email? Of course, I provide my email now. And what's my phone number, right? So provide phone number, 630-361-4637. And then basically that form is submitted, is sent to my cell phone as a new lead. It notifies me. It also sits in my database inside CyberZoos, and it took me to the calendar. So now you can choose the day and the time for that interview to take place. And let's just say it's going to be a Tuesday at I don't know, 10 a.m. or 9 a.m., right? Set that up and just, you know, autofill this and just book that. And so once that takes place, we can actually go to our database and see inside of leads and contact that lead just came in right here, and they filled out the questionnaire called Before HCI. And every lead that comes in of a person who filled out a questionnaire, it's going to show you that form right here. Even if it's 20 questions, whatever the amount of questions they answered, it's going to show you right here. So when I call, I'm going to know that this person filled out a questionnaire before joining HCI, which is basically a request of an interview. So I know his name is Mauricio. I know his phone number. I know the city. I know he's an entrepreneur. I know he makes $100,000 to $250,000. And then whatever other question I want to ask him, there's no limit on the amount of questions you want to ask about them. And then, and if I go over here to my calendar, you know, I should be able to see in my calendar that Monday morning, I think it was 9 a.m. or Friday at 11, I forgot. I see the appointment, and I can make any changes. You know, just link to Google Calendar and everything. I just want you to see what the power of using contact funnels are. And so because there is so many ways that you can create these contact funnels, that there's no limit. I mean, you could create a sequence. If you took the time to, let's say, create a sequence of 30 contact funnels that would have a message of value. And inside those messages would be the links for them to learn more about it. Just think about all the problems people have nowadays, whether it is income problems, whether it's financial problems, retirement problems. I mean, we could talk about dozens, if not hundreds, of different retirement planning or retirement or financial problems. So all your messages can basically gravitate around, hey, listen, this is the problem, right? Speak to the problem and then let them know that there is a solution to that problem. And when people click and they find these solutions, because we have that content, then they're going to be finding out that we are really a company that is focused on adding value and helping people improve their lives by helping them solve probably one of the biggest problems everybody has, which is income and other financial problems, right? So bottom line is that's how you do it. Now, you are able to create any funnel you can think of. And I want to show you that process that I just shared on the screen. I want to show you how you're able to do that or replicate that like in just a few minutes. And I'm going to do it live just so you see it and understand that it's not complicated. So let's look. The finished product, like I said, is this. It's called the Huber story. And let's just try to create this page. It's a 3-page funnel, right? And we know that because I was sharing that with you inside of the PowerPoint right here. So there's an email. I just want you to remember that. There's an email here or a text message that goes out. The email or the text message will have the link that will take people to the video. And then once they watch the video and they take action on that, it goes to the questionnaire and to the calendar. So is email, landing page, questionnaire, calendar. Sometimes you could just go from video to calendar if you want. Or you could go from the video to a questionnaire and then you call them to schedule. Whatever, I mean, however you feel is best for you. I just created this flow and I'm going to replicate it now so you can see that you can create a funnel in 5 minutes. Can you give me 5 minutes? Give me 5 minutes to create just like the flow. All the colors and the videos, that could take a little bit longer. But at least to create it is very easy. And then you just add whatever you need to add in there so that it looks nice, you know, like the makeup of it. So let's go in there and show you how to create a funnel. And I think I just got myself in trouble by saying that we could do it in 5 minutes. Let's see if that's true. So to create a funnel, you're going to use your funnel and website builder. So let's start the clock here and let's see if we can build this in 5 minutes. So we'll create a brand new, add a new, build a custom funnel, and we'll call it Hubert Story in 5 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to call it HA Story in 5 minutes because this is what is used for social media. And by the way, if you want to know more about like every section, there's a video in the lower right-hand side. You can click on that video and it shows you exactly how to create the entire video. So now that we're in the builder, now let's say that the 5 minute timer is on. So what I do is obviously I can bring an element here for a logo. We can bring a text at the top to invite people to watch the video, right? Very fast. And then we can come and drag a video element very fast. Here's the video element. I can just drag this here. And then all we need to do below that is basically add a call to action. This completes our first page. Here's the call to action, right? So we're done with that. And then the next thing we're going to do is create the second page. So we just go here and add a new page. And this page, I think it's this is the questionnaire. So I'm just going to call it question. You can call it questionnaire, whatever. And to keep consistency with how the pages should look, I'm going to add that little header up there. And then I'm going to also add another text and title to give call to action. In other words, I have to consistently tell people what to do. And I do that with these text elements. And then I go look for the questionnaire, which is down here. It's a questionnaire element. I can drag that questionnaire element down here, and then maybe I can add a little footer or maybe testimonials. I can go and grab some testimonials just in case somebody is kind of thinking about it. Maybe they have to provide a lot of information in the questionnaire. Maybe those testimonials that I can add there can motivate them to take the action. And that's it. I'm done with part 2. I basically just hover over here, open up the editor, and look for my questionnaire. By the way, these questionnaires are prepared ahead of time in the questionnaire section. And then you just select them here. When you drag the questionnaire element, you just, like I'm doing right now, you would have a drop down of all the questionnaires that you created previously, and you can just activate them, and it's that simple. So there it is. So I did this is my landing page. This is my questionnaire, and then I'm going to do a calendar, right, for them to book an appointment. So I add a third page, and I'm going to call this calendar. And the same thing, right? Keep consistency. I can just drag a header. And there's a lot of hacks to do this even much faster. When you do the first page, you can just clone the pages all the way down and do it even much faster than what I'm doing right now. But we're assuming that we're new with this, and we still don't know any of the hacks, any of the shortcuts to be able to save even more time. And so I'm going to bring my appointment calendar. I'm going to drag that appointment calendar. And by the way, you have you can have multiple appointment calendars, and you can choose the days that you are available, and the times that you are available, and how many hours or how long does each interview take, so that there's no overlapping and you're not double booking. And you actually can have one calendar for recruiting and one for appointments. They all land into the same calendar. So very nice. But anyways, 5 minutes, right? We said it's counting. And so let's say we can add, maybe as you're booking the appointment, I can have a little bit more testimonials. I don't know. I'm just thinking if I added a few more testimonials here all along the way. And that's it. Just save it. And maybe I can redirect once they finish going through the booking the calendar. I can either link them back to my index page, which is the original landing page, or I can send them to an external page, like let's say HTTPS. If I have my HGI, HTTPS, boom, boom, HGIcrusade.com, Mauricio. In other words, that's my HGI personal website. I could redirect them there, and I'm basically done. All I got to do actually that I'm missing is linking page 1 to page 2 to page 3. The way you do that is you choose which button is people going to click to go to the next page. In this case, it's obviously the call to action button. So there's three commands you need to learn on this system. That's it. And that's what makes this easy. 3 commands. Elements allows you to move elements around and drag new elements in. That's basically it. Allows you to see code if you want to get into coding. But you don't need to. But if you needed to do that, because some people would like that no HTML, they kind of go in there and like to expand their even options. But just think of elements as a way to just add and drag those blocks to create your page or your funnel. And content is all about just changing the text. Anything you want to change in there, you can do with that. And details is about changing colors. Like if I wanted this to be white, completely white, then I can just add that, and now I have my background white that matches the top header, right? Very easy. So detail is about colors, background images, background video, anything you want to put on a background. It's a color or anything else, right? So, but how do we link page 1 to page 2? Simple. You go to details, because the details is also about button commands. So you go to details, you click on the button, and then you want to link it to the question page, right? So now when people click on that button, they're actually going to land here on the questionnaire. Now you want to link the questionnaire to the calendar, so you just hover over the element, and when you see this dotted line appear, just click on the dotted line and you'll get the detail editor pop up. So what you want to do now is link it to calendar. So you're linking that to calendar, and then obviously calendar is already redirecting people that fill it out to your personal website. That's it. You publish it. That was maybe a little bit over 5 minutes, maybe not. I'll have to check the clock. But the page is ready. I mean, the flow is ready. Here's page 1. If I click on this button, it should take me to the questionnaire. Once I answer the questionnaire, and by the way, I can't skip it, but I would have to answer the questionnaire, which I'm going to do again very quickly. I'm just going to do live in Chicago, because it's not even a long questionnaire. I'm an employee this time. I make $200,000 and $500,000. That's a good employee, right? Good, makes good money. What's your name? Mauricio. I'm just giving my first name, and then what's my email? I have it here, and what's my phone number? And I can also put it here, right? And then I think that's it. It just redirects to my calendar now, and now I choose my time, and this pretty much be the end of it, of the funnel. So just like that. Now, if you wanted, now that, I mean, while we're at it here, I'll just show you very quickly how you're able to just dress the funnel very quickly. Remember, details allows you to change a logo. So if you click on the element you want to change, you always get a detail editor for that particular type of element. So you click on the logo, of course you want to change an image, right? If you already have one design like I do, we have HCI right here, I can just load that and just apply changes. It brings the logo forward, and it's right there. If I wanted to add a video, I can add YouTube, I can add Vimeo, I can add Facebook video, I can upload my own because CyberZeus has your own video section. In other words, you can load your videos. They could be 2, 3, 4 hours long for like these long webinars. That's how I do a lot of these conferences, 2, 3 hours. I'm able to upload these videos, no problem. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna look for a video they already have. And if I didn't have the video, I can upload a new video very quickly, right? I can just go ahead, go to my video section here and just load. I'm gonna load a video just so that we have something there so you can see the $1 trillion story video. Just gonna load there. And that's it, that's the video. So I can select that and just apply the changes. I could do autoplay or not. That's the video. I can use a thumbnail for that video. I'm sorry, the thumbnail is actually down here. This is the thumbnail. So I can add something like this. I know it's not the Huber story, but you get the point. So there's the page. Now you can just save that. You can publish, and that's how you dress your funnel. And once you publish it, you're basically able to just click on the video. The video will play, and you go from there. Okay. So basically, I hope that I was able to articulate and explain to you how simple it is to go from adding your contacts to your contact list here, or your groups. And then once you have those groups, you are then able to select either a person individually, or even better, go to your groups, select the group of whatever, the friends and family, assign an autoresponder that you've previously made, or just write an email to all of them of something special. Maybe there's a special BOP. Maybe there's a special conference that your upline is going to have. Imagine being able to be that great director of Motivator and then be able to come here if you have 10,000 people or whatever number is, with one click. You create one invitation. Click, those things can go out. You can deliver voicemail, text message, and email, of course. And that is to invite people to that financial conference or that business opportunity presentation or a convention of champions or a Top Gun or whatever. Whatever, you're able to do it within seconds. And if you already have autoresponders pre-designed, it's a lot easier now, because at the minute you have new prospects, you can just go select them based on their date, because every time you get a new prospect, you know that which date they came in and from what campaign that they came in. Here's the date, the times, and everything. And then obviously the analytics and all that, I'm not going to get into those things in this particular video, because this series, these 6 videos modules, is to show you how to do prospecting, contacting, presentation, follow-up, startup, and duplication. And then all the other training that you need, the technical training you need, I repeat, is lower right-hand side. You click on the video here, and in seconds you'll be seeing the video that tells you how to read what you're looking at, how to use every single little button. And it really takes you one day to go through all the, I think it's 11 or 12 different tools that you have in the ecosystem. And so once you know the basics of that, you'll feel empowered, and you'll be able to do just about anything that you can imagine to be able to contact your list and create those opportunities for you. But more importantly, just remember, as long as every time you're making contact, just make sure that you are adding, value, okay? So let me see, I think that's pretty much it for contacting. Go have fun. I have maybe another slide here that basically says you can send those contacts one message, but the fortune is really in the follow-up. And I put that you can send these emails, and these value, these autoresponders can be created with a sequence of 5 emails, or 10, or 20, or 30, or more. Or you could have multiple. You could have a campaign that has maybe 10, 20, 30 different topics about financial, things and solutions that will go out without you even thinking about it. If you create them, just imagine you'd be able to create them. Obviously, we're going to create a lot of those things for you, but the real power lies in the ability from each and every person that is becoming a cyber warrior to be able to create these things, because there's a market sophistication and everything can't totally be cookie cutter. Not when it comes to communication. You have your own personality, your own message, your own story, and that's what you need to get across. But being said that, after saying that, is you can create now these sequences that maybe you can have one that could be about financial, maybe another one about opportunities, and switch between one another. Maybe you could do opportunity and financial at the same time, kind of like what is our mission, vision, what are the solutions or products that we offer. The sky's the limit. But the thing is, without you thinking about it, if you have 1,000 people in there, you assign that autoresponder or that campaign to that group, it's going to go out in the day and the times that you want those things to go out, even without you lifting another finger to do that. And once that campaign's over, you'll know that campaign's over for that group. You can start them on a different campaign. That's very cool, because every one of those campaigns, like I said, is a contact funnel that has a call to action for them to book an appointment with you, to learn more about, to come to a BOP. You name it. Whatever action you want them to take on every one of these pieces of valuable information you send out, a good percentage of them will take that action. It's just a numbers game. You send out 1,000 emails or messages or voicemails, then what's going to happen is maybe 100 people will actually say, book an appointment. I had a campaign for a couple of months. I had over 1,000 people request a one-on-one appointment for a financial solution, and over 900 people requested a one-on-one interview to join. So that's the power of how to go ahead and use contact for getting people to reach you. I mean, reach out to you instead of you having to reach out to them, which obviously you can do that. I'm not saying that you don't, but there is a big difference when they are the ones hunting you down and not the other way around. So this was probably one of the largest videos, because it's truly prospecting and contacting are the most important pieces of the system. Because once you do the contacting, that action is going to create a reaction. It's just going to, there's no way around it. Because you made those contacts, you're going to get no's, a lot of no's, right? But you're going to get many, many yeses. And so it's just a matter of making sure that your prospecting never ends, that your funnel continues to be bigger and bigger by the friendship farming, by the referrals, right? By your team, making sure that your team make their list, and then they'll be able to keep everybody busier, because it is an endless number of possibilities when you really use the CyberZoo's contact system throughout your entire team. And if you really want to take things to the next level, then right away, don't wait, and start studying how to use social media the right way. How to use social media to attract people into your funnels so they can provide you the information, and then you can use the contact funnels to be able to add value, and then eventually they'll come to a BOP, they'll come to a conference, they'll get on a Zoom with you, they'll inquire about the opportunity, they'll ask questions, as long as you always lead with value. And so that's it for the contact video. Before I forget, there are so many other ways to contact your list. I mean, we went through the responders, the SMS, the contact funnels, but inside of those funnels, instead of just taking people to just pages that have videos and that by the way, they work really, really well. Just a few minutes ago, I was sharing a little bit about how the live-like webinars work, or the evergreen webinars work, which is a phenomenal tool. I personally use it a lot to do the following. Like every other Saturday, I have a workshop. This is a virtual conference. I either do a conference about the opportunity, or I do a conference about financial planning, retirement planning, insurance. And then I record that. And from the beginning, I'm always thinking it's evergreen, so I don't mention specific dates in the presentation so that it could be evergreen. And so then I grab that that video and I load it into the like live webinars, and I continue to drive traffic there. And so 24/7, I'm taking people to opportunity webinars and also financial webinars. Let me show you how that works. But here's the picture of it. Basically, you've got the tool to be able to create those live webinars right here. And as you can see, there is a full webinar feature inside the system. And what it is, it basically allows you to upload these live conferences that you do, or maybe you can record something and load it, like if it's live. Like I said before, is undistinguishable from real live events. And what you want to do after that is obviously have the same thing. It's questionnaires, those calls to action. You want to continue to filter your prospects and your leads. You want to capture information and then direct them to your calendar. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to take you in to show you how that works. And of course, we can't forget that on every one of these campaigns that you run, you should always have and take advantage of the autoresponders that can help you continue to stay in communication with the people that come into the webinar. And because you know where they came from, you'll know how to create the follow-up funnels so that they are specific, or they relate to the topic that they saw. If you send them to a business opportunity presentation, then your follow-up sequences, just in case they, for some reason, they didn't get to book an appointment with you, the sequences should be related to that. If they actually joined your webinar to learn about the fundamental principles of retirement planning, then your sequence of emails will be related to those fundamental principles and always have a call to action. I hope that makes sense. And so that's why I have these ways to communicate with people, which is Messenger, WhatsApp, text message, email, and even voicemail. So another way to do this is by sending people to, it's called membership sites. Now, we talked about this in a previous section, a previous step, but utilizing membership sites, it gives people this feeling of just make them feel special. Like if you give them access to the username and password to valuable information, it means that it's information that they can only find there. In other words, it's not available to everybody. And when you really create something of value and you give it away, I mean, obviously the system allows you to be able to charge for these membership sites. If you want to create like a course of 10 modules or the 10 steps to financial freedom, you could actually charge for them. The system allows you to do that. But what I recommend is that when you're running the system, you can use membership sites to be able to let people in to learn about a business or to learn about the financial solutions. And it looks kind of like I'm showing here. Obviously, there's a, I'll show you right now inside CyberZoos what it is. This is kind of like the dashboard inside where you're able to see the course, the description, and of course the modules, section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then on the next page in there is you can see the videos, and you can have the worksheets, the PDF, the book downloads, every material or supporting material that you would want to provide your member. And so you could do those type of things. So let's go into CyberZoos and show you just how those things work, so that you can understand better. So webinars, which was the first feature that we were talking about previously, looks just like this. In other words, when you create a new webinar, if you add new here, when you log in the first time, you're going to find nothing, but basically takes you through a series of steps that in the end will give you a full webinar, kind of like what I have here. If I go to edit, you'll see that I have a recorded webinar, even though it's going to look just like a live webinar. You could upload from Vimeo, from YouTube. If you want to do a live webinar, you just go to load the live stream URL here. But if not, I typically, I actually have my BOPs, my virtual BOPs and my financial education BOPs live. I do them live. I interact and everything. And then those are recorded and put to work as an evergreen, as a live conference. And obviously, this is a page where I can put a webinar title, description. This is the schedules. This is the amount of presentations that the system is going to do. It's going to have the next available, like just in time type of message that people will see to know that in the next 10 minutes or 5 minutes, a webinar is going to start. And they can join there if they're ready. If not, they can register for the next one, which would be 2-3 hours from now or tomorrow. You can decide how many of those people of the next webinars you can show. Maybe we can show the next 4. I hadn't even done that before. So we'll go to the next one. And then this is where you can basically design your landing page for the webinar. Really nice professional looking ones. I'm not going to spend a lot of time because there is training videos again on this. And then there's the thank you page. And then the interactive pop-ups is basically the things, the banners that can actually pop up at any given moment in your presentation. Like if your presentation is about an hour long, and in minute 55 and 23 seconds, you say, hey, right now there is a banner on your left or left-hand side or in the bottom, depending on whether you're watching this on the mobile or on the desktop. You can click on that to schedule a one-on-one consultation. So this banner is going to pop up very nicely. It's going to have the button. When they click on it, they can go to your questionnaire. They can go to the calendar. They can go to an external page. They can go anywhere you want, basically. And you can have these pop-ups show up every second if you want. You can have multiple. You can add these pop-ups to show up here. The small ones are always going to show, if you're looking at the screen on the right-hand side, really nice. And if you do a large one, this basically is going to take over. It's like a pop-up. It takes over the screen when you say it's going to do, and it'll disappear whenever they take an action. They can either close it or take an action, or you can have it disappear a few seconds later, a few minutes. You can also add a URL in the bottom. Like some people like to have in the top have their their calls to action and they're watching the webinar. But in the bottom, they create these pages with specific things like testimonials, like the calendar right there at all times. Just any URL you want to place under it. It looks really nice. You can add your entire page in the bottom for them to be able to read while you're giving the presentation. Any facts, any material, just basically anything in the bottom, it's going to be there all the time. And so you can place that URL. And of course, since you can do anything in the builder inside CyberZoos, the possibilities or the options of what you can actually put right below the chat and where the banners show up and where the live webinars going on. In the bottom, you could basically create a long sales page. I mean, it's really, I'll give you an example of what I did for this video, and you'll see. So the next thing is chat. If you want to do real attendees, dynamic, I have a question box on dynamic attendees. I like to do this. In other words, since you're driving traffic all the time, you may have maybe 30, 40 people see it in a day, but they're not always there at the same time. So what you want to do is you kind of mimic what if everybody was there at the same time and kind of do, I don't know, I'm going to do 45 to 65 people, and they're going to basically see that number kind of moving up and down as if it was real, right? And then the next thing is we have the reminders. You can send a reminder, and you can edit this out. By the way, you can do so many things in the reminder, add video, add images. You make it look really, really nice. But if you don't do anything, if you just click on remind them immediately when they register, clients is going to get one. If they signed up for SMS message, you can also do that. You could just send them the confirmation of registration and then send them the last minute, and we are live one. But if you wanted to send them one that's 24 hours prior, like if you're doing a webinar live, you're using a live URL and you want to do this webinar a week from now, you may want to use the remind after 24 hours or so. Or I would use it anytime, because even if it's an evergreen webinar, that autoplays, people may not necessarily register for the webinar when they arrive, right? They may choose a date that is 1 or 2 days ahead in the future, and so having the 24-hour reminder is good, and then the 15 minutes, and then we're live. You get the message, you get the text message, and you have the email, and we will soon add broadcast. In other words, voicemail. They have a voicemail reminding them. And then the next thing is you have lead routing. So when you set up your system, and to do that, you go to the first video, the first page in the system, and then you use that little video in the lower right-hand side icon. It'll pop up the video, and it'll teach you exactly how to set up your account. But when you set up your account, you input your email, your phone number, your mobile carrier, and basically what that helps us do is route the leads to the right place. But in this case, if you're, let's say, if you have an assistant who is going to exclusively handle the traffic and the leads that come in for the webinars, well, you can then give a different email, a different phone number. As long as we have the mobile carriers here, you'll be able to redirect those leads to the person in charge, so that he or she can send messages and do some activity with them to ensure that you have higher show-up rate if it's live, or even if it's recorded, or any follow-up you want to do that is information that is relative to the content that you shared in the webinar. And then the next thing is you add the presenter, you add their name, the role, the photo, you upload the photo so that it looks nice there, and then finally you just submit it, and what you end up with is what we have here. And so we have a landing page. It's simple. I didn't have time to but you can design this so much more. Added a video, added the header. I forgot to put the photo in there, but obviously you can put the photo. You can register here for the next date. And so what's going to happen, it says that the next one is going to start in 12 minutes. So when you go to the webinar section, just take the time, understand how this works. I kind of went through this very, very fast because this is contacting. Maybe I explained too much because I just wanted you to understand that there are many ways to do effective contacting. Imagine if instead of sending somebody just a video on the page, you actually invite them to a live webinar. You know, people would react different to those things. Say, wow, this is live webinar, and if you do the header and the subtitle and the copy around it, they'll want to register, and it's like a special event. When it's a page that is just there open 24/7, you know, I mean, there's room for that, because some people are just busy. They can't wait for the next 15 minutes, or if they sign up for a webinar tomorrow, they could forget, right? But having both options is great, and testing both of them is also a great thing that you could do. So you can build as many webinars as you want, and here's the neat thing. On every section, you could basically duplicate you could duplicate this webinar and then share it with a new associate of yours. Like if you give them that code, they can take that code, put it into their ZyberZoo's account, and now they have that webinar. So imagine, from the most experienced financial professionals in the company, that they build a presentation. Imagine now they have 1,000 greenies, right? 1,000 people that just started, don't know how to give a presentation, but they can leverage that expertise by simply copying that link. It could replicate 1 billion times. I mean, that doesn't, anybody who has a ZyberZoo's account can basically grab that code and replicate autoresponders, questionnaires, complete funnels, webinars. You can replicate anything. And so what that does is that you're able to bring a new team member, and if you have some campaigns that are effective, why not share with them the things that's helping you grow? Because you've got a vested interest, right? their success depends, or your success, I should say, depends on their success. So why not? And we will see this. I mean, we will see campaigns that are extremely successful, and hopefully we'll be thinking about winning as a company and sharing these things that work. I still believe and convinced that the best funnels, the most effective campaigns are going to be created by you. There's a lot of creative minds out there, and people that write copy better, people that communicate better. So I can't wait to see all the amazing things you guys are going to do with the webinars, the funnels, obviously all the communication tools that we have, the calendars, the questionnaires, just everything, the membership sites. So anyway, but that's the webinar, right? And then obviously, how do you drive people to the webinar? Here's your link. You can use that link to put it anywhere, to send it to people, to send it in an email, add an image on an email and attach the link there so people can land on the webinar. I mean, there's so many different ways. And if I'm still not being clear, don't worry about it. We're going to have some training that will help us dive deeper into how to use all these tools. All right, but I think to get started, understanding that there's so many ways now, as long as you have the prospect list, that's why it's so important to go 500, 1,000 prospects to start. Then you can start using these contact funnels, and that includes obviously funnels, processes, webinars, membership sites. That allows you to give value to people, and that's how they're going to reach out. And if you don't have the content, maybe speak to your upline, look at what the company is doing, and try to leverage those and use them to get started. But don't always hide behind those. The idea here is that you want to grow as a professional, so start creating some content around modeling what you see as success that is having results. And before you know it, you're going to be just as good as anybody that's having the best results. All right, I'm going a little long here, but I think it was important. And of course, membership sites. I love membership sites because it's so easy to create. If you have a course, if you know, like I learned a presentation a few years ago. Actually, I have many presentations about IRAs and about retirement planning. I mean, I've been in the financial industry for 22 years now, so I had to give a lot of presentations. And all of these presentations are they're approved. I mean, they're compliance approved, and you know, I know that presentation's been basically given the approval by the FINRA and you know and these entities that regulate. So you want to obviously be careful with that, but have the slides and all that, and I know how to give the presentation. So I go ahead, give the presentation live, and then I make them, instead of making a webinar, I make it into modules, make it into a course. Because some people could react better to, hey, this is a course about you becoming financially literate, right? Like you getting your knowledge. If you take this 8 or 10 modules that will talk about, you know, retiring in this century, tax rate risk and Social Security maximization, and how to protect your money from the downs of the market, and how to, if you don't have long-term care, what are the alternatives to long-term care, and what is indexing, and blah, blah, blah. So you can create courses and then give them away, say, hey, this is a $197 course, but I am giving it away to you. And you can basically show that. So bottom line is, you can come here to courses, create the courses. When you create the course, it's very easy. You give it a title, a description, you upload a thumbnail. You can have an attachment if you want them to download like a PDF. Upload the video. That's going to be the course you recorded. And of course, the video type, which is Vimeo, YouTube, or your own My Videos account here. And then you basically just upload the video file. You submit, and you have your course right there. So you can create as many courses as you want. Every presentation in the company could maybe become a course, right? And what it is that now you can have one membership site for many, many courses, free and paid. Imagine you having a membership site where you have a couple of free courses that are packed with value. And in the same membership site, you have a couple courses that you actually charge for. You know? And obviously that's not the end product. You're not going to make a lot of money just by selling $197 or $97 courses or $1,000 courses. But The idea is that when people pay for their course, they're more obviously invested. They have skin in the game. But in the end, they'll see the great value you added. They're still going to reach out to you to help them set up their IULs, set up their retirement income, set up their financial plan, you know. And so you can create you can create one membership site and many courses inside. You can have one membership site for every course. You can have free courses and paid courses, and it's so easy to build them here. I mean, here's membership site. You want to create a membership site, basically, this is all you need to basically create, which is kind of customizing your membership site. It takes you 5 minutes to do it. Go to the membership site when you're done with these 6 modules and watch the video that teaches you how to set it up. But in short, this is kind of how one of the options, well, let me log out first here. Let me log out and go. This is where you can create landing pages with username and password for the members. You could put video, you could put images, you could change anything, the look and feel, the colors of the landing page, the logos. In this case, I'm using one of the companies, like, you know, I'm with HGI, but HGI pays Iridium Wealth Management, like a whole brand. So, I'm using this logo here for this financial course. And obviously, you being the creator, you don't have to have a username and a password. You actually have a direct access to the inside of it. So you can see what people see when they come here. This is a free course. Actually, it's a paid course, and I actually paid through it just to see that it was working. So here's the dashboard, which has your information, courses inside. This is where you can have multiple courses. You can have free courses, right? You can have, paid courses, and then you can have free courses. And so they'll be all lined up in there. It's kind of like a Netflix, right? You can see all these thumbnails, the description, the name of the movie or the name of the course, and then the description. If it's free, they'll be able to go like this. They'll see all the topics of it, and then they'll go to the course, and there we go. The course will begin, and they can go to the modules, and they have the progress bar, and they completed the course. If it's a paid course, a little pop-up window is going to show up for them to be able to pay. It'll be linked to your Stripe account. So obviously, you'll be able to get paid on that. Kind of dollars to help you pay for some of the marketing. I wish that everybody really opens their eyes and starts seeing investing in their marketing is probably one of the best investments you can make. It's been for me. It's paid me more money than any annuity, any IUL, any mutual fund, any real estate investments is the investing in marketing by far. Like, there's no comparison. So that's membership sites. Again, we just went through it. Here's the beauty of it. Imagine you create a membership site, a phenomenal. Then you could just duplicate it and duplicate the membership site and provide the code to your members or to the people in your team. So now they leverage it. So it's like in 1 second. Look at how fast this duplicates. Click. Everything is there. Submit. What I have to do is just change the name because you can't have the same exact domain. So you have to change. Maybe put a 2 here, and then select the course right there, right? Then select the course, and that's it. You'll submit it. It'll get done, and it's down here. It's down here now. It's 8 Principles 2, and is the whole page. The whole thing's replicated. Some people could take weeks, months, or whatever just to create a complete course. Now you can just clone it, use it, and guess whose information is going to be in the back? Your picture, your photo, your number, your questionnaires, your calendar, everything. So talk about virality and talk about speed. So that's the membership site, which I wanted to make sure that you understood that you have before we get any further. And those are just different tools that you can utilize. Again, I repeat, to be able to send value information to the people. Once you deliver the value, they'll want to know more about what you do. Because we can't just go in there, trying to sell insurance without adding value first. It could work. I mean, if you do a lot of those, I remember going door to door and walking out with a check when I first started in the career. I remember that. So it could work, making cold calling, but I'll tell you by experience, especially now where with the click of a button, you can contact 10,000 people, 20,000, 100,000 people. Just imagine the power of that. And I tell you that because right now my list is close to 20,000. I started about a year, a little over a year, to build that list here. And if I have a, let's say I'm going to have a webinar on retirement planning or indexing or whatever that is, or about the BOP, I just send a email out to 20,000 people, and I typically get 150, 200 people show up live. So appointments come out of that, and I can do that every week. I don't do it every day, but because I'm people that kind of used to every Saturday morning, I have a live event, and then I grab that, like I said before, make it into an evergreen, and then drive traffic there while I have a new one. But I used all these contacting tools to be able to have the activity. That's very powerful, if you ask me. So that's it for this contact section. And now I invite you to look at or go watch the other video, which is about how to automate the presentation. And you can be basically everywhere, 24/7, 365, every single minute, streaming to millions of people at the same time. So go watch that right now.